Okay, so we finished testing the server. We can see that it's running well, and then we need to come back here. We need to configure the pipeline, and we need to put something into the pipeline. All right, so let's look at what is the pipeline. So I said that the pipeline is a double linked list, right? So what is it? What is this one? Let's look at that. We can call the add last, and we can call add first, right? And we can look at the add last method. If we go into this method, and let's look at this. So the add last method, it accepts parents. What type of it? It's called channel handler. We go into the channel handler, and this is the top interface, right? So we can look at what kind of child interface they have. This channel handler have. Oh, there's so many child interfaces. But we can notice that there's one called channel inbound handler and outbound handler. That's what we've just seen, right? So let's look at the channel inbound handler. You have many methods that listed in this inbound handler interface. And of course, you have a outbound handler that is similar to the inbound handler. Same, you have many methods listed. So I can give in the conclusion. I have a conclusion here. This pipeline add last method, we can add either the inbound handler type or outbound handler type. So what are they? What are they? Let's go to the browser. I've drawn a diagram showing it. All right. So let's see. We can have a pipeline, and this pipeline belongs to the server. And when the Netty client sends our message to the server, and this message is actually going into the pipeline. And when it's getting into the pipeline, this message is going to be processed by the handler inside the pipeline. All right. So what's the difference between the inbound and outbound handler? All right. So in Netty, handlers are core components that process events as they pass through the channel pipeline. So inbound handlers, it's for handling incoming data events. So which means when the message or any data is sent into the server, the inbound handler that it's being configured into the pipeline of the server, it's going to be triggered. And how about the outbound? The outbound is not triggered if the message is getting in, because the name is called outbound. It tells you many things, right? So the outbound handler, it's for handling the outgoing operations, the outgoing event message. So if any message is sent out from the server, it gets into the pipeline of the server, and this message, because it's getting out, so it's going to be processed by the outbound handler. Okay, so in a word, inbound handlers are triggered when the data flows into the channel. All right, and outbound handlers are triggered when the data is written out of the channel, like sending a response to the client. Right. So if I give you an example, like here, if I get one more outbound handler, imagine that I have another outbound handler here right before the outbound handler one. Okay, so in the code, we should do something like that. New inbound handler one. Okay, we don't have this class. I just show you the way. Okay, I want to explain something. Okay, then I add an inbound handler 2, and then I add an outbound handler 1, and lastly I add an outbound handler 2. All right, so this is exactly the same in this diagram. All right, in this diagram we add the inbound handler 1, and then inbound handler 2, and then outbound handler. Oh, sorry. Let's go back here. Outbound handler 2 and outbound handler 1. So this is it's all these handlers are being added in order. Okay, locate 1 2 2 1. Why? Okay, let's go back to the diagram. So when the messages flow into the server, the handler, its trigger, and it started from the head of the doubly linked list. Okay, when the message is flowing into the server, the handler is triggered from the head of the doubly linked list. Now, how about the message getting out of the server, going back to this Netty client, and then the handlers is triggered from the back at the back of the doubly linked list. Okay, from the last. Okay, so that's why if the message is sent out from the server, outbound handler 1 will be triggered first, and then the outbound handler 2 will be triggered next. Alright, so this is because since it's a doubly linked list, so you can add that handler into the head, you can add the handler into the back. So it's up to you, to the last, to the tail, right? So, but anyway, remember one thing: when the message is flowing into the pipeline, okay, into the pipeline, or into the server, let's say if this pipeline belongs to this server, when the message is flowing in, right? So the handler is triggered from the head of the pipeline. And when the message is flowing out of the server, the outbound handler is triggered from the back of the pipeline. Okay, so this is a key concept. It's very important, and I hope you can always keep that in mind.